630 CHED presents The Announcers. Opinion, personality, passion. The Announcers on 630 CHED, Edmonton's breaking news and conversation station.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of The Announcers. I am Ryan Jesperson, joined by Jaylen Nye and Andrew Gross. Good to see the two of you.
Well, not only Jaylen Nye and Andrew Gross, but at Gross Andrew and what's your
at
Twitter?
Jaylen Nye.
There you go.
I'm at Ryan Jesperson. I was thrilled to get that
Poor
Twitter
man's
handle, the poor man's Strombo, because I don't know if I've told you this before, but there's an absolute hooligan, a complete criminal by the name of Ryan Jesperson. Last I checked, he was in the state of Florida. Like, I'm talking incarcerated in the whole 9 yards, like tattoos on his face type thing. And he had started swooping up all of the Jesperson handles on, like, every, so it was a good thing I didn't care about MySpace or ICQ. I don't remember the other ones, old school.
Yeah.
So as soon as I caught wind of this and realized that Twitter and Facebook were really going to be things, and Instagram and everything else, I went in and just got them all.
Really, I was too late.
Really?
I'm Gross Andrew because Andrew Gross was taken, and oddly, a lawyer in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he defends Ryan Jesperson at trial?
Well, he defends me often. People are often tweeting him about my act.
I received a tweet. I woke up a few days ago, and someone had brought it to my attention because if you know a little bit about how Twitter works, if somebody wants you to see it, if they're talking about you and they want you to see it, they've got to tag you, we call it. So this person used my name. It didn't tag me in it, which was a whole other issue. You might say he lacked confidence. The tweet from Larry Heather, a longtime political candidate and conservative Christian activist and anti-abortion activist in the city of Calgary, reads, Ryan Jesperson assures his place in the lake of fire for his apostasy.
I saw that. I replied to that one, actually.
I did too.
Didn't you say that you were going to save me a deck chair?
No, I said go down early and throw a towel on a deck chair or they'll all be gone by noon.
Well, because the lake of fire, there's going to be so many people there.
Sure.
I said I'd bring the gin.
I think actually what I'm doing right now probably qualifies as apostasy, so I'm doubling down on Mr. Heather's claim. Do you two, first of all, find that you get, I already know the answer to this, pile driven on Twitter from time to time, and second of all, do you care?
The answer is yes, and for number one and number two, I said depends what it's on. So
I actually, you know what, I don't mind when the critics come out on Twitter because it's my personal Twitter account and I can mute them or block them. And I actually quite enjoy doing it. And I don't encourage people to go after me on Twitter, but if I believe it to be unfair, unlike here where you hear people out or you see their texts every day, but that's my account. So, yeah, I quite enjoy reading it and blocking them. I don't reply.
Yeah, in the last one that happened to me, there was a fellow who took great, I don't even know what the word is, but just started trash talking me about my honorary colonel position with the Air Force. And if anyone who knows me well, how incredibly important and how proud I am of that role and how incredibly proud I am to be with the forces and all of that. And he just started to trash me and was one after another and after another. And I said to him, I said, you know what, you have your thoughts, you go on, but this is done. Like, we're done. And other people came to my defense, and it got to the point where he blocked me. I was like, why are you blocking me? But I was like, okay, I think I won that round.
Yeah,
Does it bug you, though, that he blocked you before you blocked him? Yeah, of
and then
course
I went
it does.
back, I'm blocking too, but it's just,
You can't fire me, I quit.
Yeah.
The reason I asked, there's this new app out. I don't know if the two of you are big app users. I actually barely have any apps on my phone, but this one called People, P-E-E-P-L-E.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard about this thing?
Yes.
It's like, it sounds kind of like Yelp in the sense that the concept centers around rating, but you're rating people. So the app will let you rate people on a professional or a personal level. In a dating relationship, you can rate them as positive, neutral, or negative. Kind of a weird idea. I've been trying to understand the purpose of this or the reason for it. First of all, why would you want to put yourself out there to be rated?
Well, I don't even think you have to put
And
yourself
second of all,
out.
who cares? Oh, you're right.
Yeah, I think you can just choose someone and rate them. I just find it it puts a spotlight on the two worst aspects of the internet, and one is the anonymity and the criticism and the hatred and the trolling that goes on in the internet, which I just honestly despise. I don't do it. I don't like it. I block people who troll other people, even if I'm not involved. I just have no use for them. And the other is this dependence on the internet to provide information that you really don't need. If you're hiring somebody, you wouldn't go to one of these. I personally would not go to one of these professional LinkedIn pages or whatever. I'd phone their last 3 employers and interview them.
Old school.
Yeah. I mean, why do I care what the opinion of strangers is about a person I don't really know?
Well, and if it was on a personal level, if I was like, oh, is this person a good friend, or would this be a good boyfriend or girlfriend? I mean, don't you need to find out, spend some time with them and do it that way? Ask your friends. I mean, really, that's what you do. You ask friends, but it's the anonymity of it that, again, with the entire thing, that just drives me up and down the roll.
Well, and you know what?
Again.
Yeah, and the third thing, I guess, would be the need for people, myself included, to have strangers give you approval. That's the other part of this, right? That you want to put yourself out there, and then you want to see people tell you that you're valuable, or that you're good, or you're funny, or you're attractive. Why do you need strangers to tell you that? I mean, as long as my wife thinks I'm all of those things, I'm good.
Yeah. The one you touched on LinkedIn, and I kind of contradict myself. I have a bit of a double standard because I talk about how useless LinkedIn is, but then I'm on LinkedIn. And
Yeah,
I go on
as
it.
am I, yeah.
So, I'll be honest. Yeah, I have a LinkedIn account. I've never seen any benefit from it. I guess I have it because I feel at some point maybe it's going to come in handy. Like I don't know. So, but some people swear by LinkedIn. They're like, that's their go-to.
Really?
So for me, it's not that thing. But one of the interesting things I've noticed on LinkedIn is people can endorse you.
That's
for
right.
skill sets.
For certain skills, yeah.
And so I'll get a notification that, some individual, and sure, I mean, I guess I appreciate it, but, someone's endorsed me for event management, or someone's endorsed me for social media. I'm thinking, I don't know who you are. You don't know anything about me. So thank you, I guess, for the vote of confidence. But first of all, what's the value of the endorsement? Second of all, what's it based on? Somebody pointed out to me, well, most people are just trying to get you to kind of endorse them. Mm-hmm. So they'll reach out, be
Plus,
proactive.
LinkedIn
scratch your back.
encourages you to endorse. If you don't do anything on LinkedIn for a time, they'll send you an email saying, do you know this person? Can you endorse them in these areas? So it's not a real endorsement anyways. The only reason I'm still on LinkedIn is I can't remember my password. So I can't cancel the darn account.
Yeah, I don't even know why I started one, but I have one actually, and I've used it a couple of times, though, to try and track down someone for an interview. And it's worked well.
Really?
I couldn't find it somewhere else. Needed to find a contact information for an interview I wanted on the show, but that's about it.
My, in looking into this People app, just so we could talk about it here, they talk about how people, first of all, maybe rating people out of context. People that'll follow you on Twitter, for example, they don't know about your personality or your family or your skill set or, contributing factors to whatever mood you may be in a certain day. So, I mean, none of this even, proves to be relevant. It reminded me, though, of a trend, I guess it was about 15, maybe even 20 years ago when everybody started having regular internet access. People started having internet in their homes. And the reason why it was on my radar is because my dad practices medicine. People started rating doctors online. And my dad caught wind of it. He's not, he's has sort of basic internet skill, but he's not the type. He doesn't have Facebook. He could care less about that kind of thing. So I guess he went and searched his name online. He wanted to see what people were saying about him, and there was like 2 bits of feedback. One of them was sort of tepid, sort of maybe like 3 stars out of 5. The other was scathing. And he's sitting there, and I could tell that it really bothered him. This is a guy with 35 years at that point in this business, taking patients literally numbering in the thousands, someone who lives his work, and I could see the impact that a negative review had on him. And he's sitting there, and I remember my mom reading over his shoulder and going, "But that's not even fair criticism. Like that's not even accurate. That's not even true." I mean, these online ratings and rankings, you got to wonder if people actually should be paying attention to them.
Well, there's a real danger to a lack of information when it comes to those ratings. And I use rating. The only rating page I use is like a TripAdvisor to take a look at hotel reviews, restaurant reviews, that kind of thing. But even those I take with a real grain of salt. I take a look at what else they've rated and do they hate everything? I mean, I also look at other people's reviews and or I just take a look at their argument and say, all right, well, you know what? All-inclusives have that problem. Or, typically it's like the buffet was horrible. Well, the buffets are all horrible. Get over it. But when it comes to your professional standing, where you're a doctor or in media, people have that same lack of knowledge of the situation and yet have the freedom to just put it out there. And
then walk away from it.
Walk away, but you've got to live with it. And you asked earlier, does it bother you? No, yeah, I shouldn't say no. Yeah, it always bothers me when I get criticized. I'm human. But it bothers me more when the criticism is not only unfair, but untrue. And occasionally, and just recently, in fact, somebody criticized me on Twitter about taking too much time off from the show. But they don't know my contract. I mean,
They don't know what's been arranged. You know what I
right,
mean?
right. They don't know what the arrangement I have with 630 Ched is or with Jaylen Nye. I didn't violate any contract to take time off, but I can't go around putting out these little fires all the time, right? So you just have to ignore it.
But are you tempted to? Because you said, Andrew, that you don't engage, and I don't want to necessarily just write everybody off that's critical and call them trolls, because not everybody that's critical is a troll.
Sure.
But I mean, I sometimes am really tempted to engage the odd time I do, because you'll see something and you go, no, that needs to be corrected, or this requires additional information, and I'm happy to provide it.
Yeah, and when you do that, I grab the bowl of popcorn and sit back and watch it unfold and
that's
love
just
every minute of it. Yeah, I mean, and that's what it is. That last guy that came after me about the honorary colonel thing, I tried to provide information. I'm thinking, okay, this is where it's at. This is what it. But he wasn't listening. It wasn't going anywhere. But I got it out there, and it was done, and it was over, and that's it. I am at the point. I'll be honest with you. If I didn't have it for work, I'm not sure that I would be on Twitter or Facebook anymore. I'm getting really done with all of it. With all of it. I have a quick story. The other day, a friend of mine on Facebook, she said, and it was her Facebook post, "Don't ever Google your name." She said she Googled her name, and it was a big mistake. She's a widow. Her husband died in Afghanistan. Probably was kind of looking up to see what about her husband and all that sort of stuff. And she was devastated. She was devastated. And I just said, "Oh no. Don't ever do that." My dad Googled my name once, years ago, and he called me. He was so upset. He was upset like your dad was when he saw the rape my doctor thing. And I said, "Daddy, just don't.
Yeah.
Don't ever do it again. Just don't."
Well, there are websites that are like dedicated to slandering people.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the entire purpose
they
for
do.
the site.
Which is just like watching a car accident in real time.
But I'm sorry, but
Get
get a life, people. Get a freaking life.
See, on the other hand, I could argue that I need to get a life too. I quite enjoy Twitter, and I enjoy it though. I think differently than most people. I put a lot of thought into my tweets. I will even pre-write a tweet for an occasion that hasn't happened yet, similar to writing a joke for something that hasn't happened yet for my stage act. And then take great pleasure, honestly, in how many times it gets favorited or retweeted. I like it.
Yeah, because you know what that is? It's the same as it's like a little mini orgasm in your head is what it is. It's a little drop of, what is it, that feel-good drug, and a little endorphins. Dopamine, and it's a little drop. They've studied that every time soon. That's why you get, when you keep going back and look at it, because you get this little feel-good shot,
sure.
Right?
I got quoted, a tweet of mine got quoted in the Toronto Sun a couple of days ago. And I got to be honest with you, I texted people to say, "Oh my God, look at this," with the link. I was quite thrilled that it happened, which is odd because, I mean, it's the same as, I texted your show one day, but I texted to the 630 line.
And did Ryan Jesperson read the tweet?
Yes.
Oh, did I?
And said, "Oh, here's a really good tweet," or here's a really good text, and read the text. Even though I'm on radio for 4 hours a day, I was absolutely thrilled that you read my text. There is something about, it's like I said earlier, I don't care about what strangers think of me, but there is something about a mass of strangers thinking that you did something clever that I like. I like the fact that I respect you and the work you do in the morning. So for you to say that my text was good meant something to me. I guess there is a part of me that sort of needs that.
Really?
Yeah,
Needy?
I think so. A little needy, yeah. Well, I'm a man.
I've got some folks, if you mentioned their name to me, I would immediately have, my gut would kind of clench. People that on a consistent basis, on an almost daily basis, some 2 cases on an almost hourly basis will put me in their crosshairs publicly and take shots. However, on the flip side, you could say other names and my heart would warm. And these are people that I've met via Twitter, some of them via the text line here at 630 Ched.
Met them?
Have not met them in person. Some I have. Some I have friendships with. I mean, Phil Wilson, Bacon Hound, comes to mind. He comes on the show every once in a while. I met him on Twitter.
Yeah.
There have been Edmontonians and good friends of mine now that I met online on social media. But there are others. There are some listeners here. You recognize the phone number when they text into the show, and you feel a connection to them.
Yep.
Because the more and more people text in, the more insight they provide on what makes them tick and where their heads are at with certain things, and you start to feel a connection with people. So there's the positive side too. But my thing, my impression has always been when it comes to online, rankings and reviews, and who really is motivated? Is it the people that have had very positive experiences, or those that have had
of course,
negative experiences to provide feedback? If I go to my favorite restaurant and have a fabulous meal, I expect to have a fabulous meal at my favorite restaurant. I try to send out the word, congratulate them, thank them, but I don't always. But if somebody waits 2 months to get into the best restaurant in Edmonton, and they have a lousy meal, you better believe, there are people that are inclined to get right home, right onto their computer, and tear that restaurant a new one.
And you know what? My concern there is, did you talk to the management before you left? Did you talk to your waiter or your waitress before you left? No, I didn't have a good dining experience. Here's why. Instead of just going and lambasting it out there for everyone to see, did you talk to them first? And then, was there something there and you still weren't happy? Okay, well, maybe. But don't let them know before you go and hang them up, right?
But you know what? I always bookmark those. If it's a hotel or restaurant that I'm intending to go to and I was looking at the reviews and there's a recent really terrible review, and I typically click on terrible only to read those. So I'm going to know.
They're more entertaining.
Exactly, they are. And they're often so unfair that they're funny. But I will bookmark a particular review to come back in a week and see if the restaurant or hotel has responded to that review. And oftentimes that's even funnier when they come back and say, well, here's the thing. I'll tell you why that's not possible. And then they explain, that
the reason why there's sand here is it's the Caribbean.
Exactly.
Sir, the reason why you have to wear a shirt in our restaurant is...
Exactly.
Another app, I didn't even know this exists, an app called Unfollowers.
Have it and check it every day, at least once. Love that app.
Not really.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that app. Here's why. Because
you care who's unfollowed you?
Yes. And
why?
Because how frustrating is it? At least it was for me. I would look when I had, say, 300 followers, right? It's less important now because followers come and go. But you'd have, say, 300 followers, right? Then you'd watch a TV show and you'd go back to your computer and turn it on. You have 299 followers and you think, well, who left me? And you start going through and going, well, I don't, who? And you start checking. No, they're still following me. So I just Googled one day, how do I find out who unfollowed me?
What?
Yeah, and up came this app.
Why do you care, though?
Because I'm just curious. Like, say, for example, a friend unfollows you. Like, I'd like to know, well, why? Like, did I say something? Did I do something? I mean, if it's a stranger, not so much, right? But, I mean, your mom unfollows you. Don't you want to call mom and say, did you push the wrong button or what, And plus,
she's like, no, I just don't think you're funny.
Right, exactly. You're trying to build followers, right? So when you're going down, you want to know who did you lose. And sometimes, say I tweet something that I think is funny and possibly people take offense to it, and I lose, say, 4 followers, I'd like to know which 4 followers took offense to that. I'm just curious. It's the kind of feedback I want.
So do you follow up?
No. I never asked them why they left. I'm just curious. It's just one of those things where it bugs you that, particularly where you only lose one. Well, which one? And now that I'm up to whatever.
Doesn't bug me at all.
It does to me. And I don't know how many followers I have, like 4,000 or something. It would be impossible now to find out who unfollowed. But once you get the app, it kind of draws you in a little bit because there's some other aspects of the app that are really kind of entertaining, like who you follow that doesn't follow you back.
Yeah.
Who's blocked you, who's muted you, who's maybe a fake account. There's things like that the app is quite useful for. And you know those tweets you get where they want you to click on a website or something, and they're actually nefarious sites. It finds those for you as well, and just says, this is not a real follower.
Okay, so there is some value.
There is some positive value to it. But honestly, the number one reason is I like to know who unfollowed.
He actually, there's a list of behind him on his desk of all of the people
with
who unfollowed
pictures.
him.
Yeah.
This is like isn't that like Steve Buscemi in which Adam Sandler movie is it? Where he's like Billy Madison, right?
Yeah,
Buscemi's
exactly,
like smearing lipstick on his face and he's got his list of people to kill.
See, I just find it real. Don't you want to know? Does it not?
I don't know. I mean,
come on, be honest now. You don't care?
Not really.
Let's say, for example, Mayor Iveson followed you, and I don't know if he does or he doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say he stopped following you.
Yeah. Well, his wife doesn't follow me, and she's been on my show several times.
She doesn't follow me
Sarah
either.
Chan, mentioning you by name.
and
Follow me,
see-
girl. Come on, friend. Come on.
That's the other thing, right? It's got to not follow back, right?
I'll tell you something. Okay, I'll.
So I like to check who's not following me back.
I'll pull back the curtain a little bit here. I'll tell you something that bothers me. People unfollowing me does not bother me. People that I follow that don't follow me back, that should follow me back,
Yes.
really bug me.
Yeah.
One example, and I'm trying to decide right now if I should say it or not.
Do
I'm
it.
going to say it. I don't care. The Premier's press secretary, Cheryl Oates,
Yes.
should follow me on Twitter. She doesn't. I follow her.
Yeah.
Bugs me.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
agree with you on that one.
I consider myself, I wouldn't say, I don't know if I'm friends with Cheryl. We're certainly friendly. And I wanted, last time I saw her, and it would be a funny question, but I'd want to know,
Why?
why don't you follow me? I talk about the Premier almost every day on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why she doesn't follow me.
The Edmonton Journal stopped following me yesterday. and I looked.
love that we can have this conversation.
I know. I just looked at it and went, "Why? Why did you stop following me?" And I was actually quite honored that I didn't even know they followed me, but I know now that they unfollowed me.
Oh, this is so great. This is so great.
Me too.
Do you
Man.
know? No, but hey,
no.
listen, I'll
Really?
tell
Come
now.
on.
Now I'm being
No.
real. Now
Yeah.
I'm being real. Yes, it does. Some people, it does. It does. You know, I follow CNN on Twitter. They don't follow me back. I don't expect them to. I follow Taylor Hall. He doesn't follow me
Right.
back. I don't expect him to. That's fine. But like, you know, when it's in a professional circumstance,
Yeah.
you know, it's funny though. Like for me, I have been confronted in person twice in the last couple of months from people I unfollowed, and it blew my mind that they did it. One guy unfollowed him on Twitter, quite frankly, because I was sick of his voice. I was sick of his perspective. I didn't find any value to what he had to say, and so I unfollowed him. He tweeted about it. He made it public. He was trying to create this issue. I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
first of all, that's about the most insecure thing I've ever seen anybody do. The other one, a colleague of mine within the Edmonton Oilers organization, came up, a member of Octane. We're buddies. I laughed about it, but she's a hairstylist, and she's very talented. But she was tweeting like all the photos of her work, and it was
Yeah.
it was a lot for me. So I unfollowed her because next
you
time
could-
I saw her,
It's my time.
next time I saw her, she wanted to know why I unfollowed her.
Okay,
she
so
wanted
just,
to know why.
Just a little tip for you, because I've done the same thing where somebody says, please follow me, they'll even email me, or they, you know, come on, follow me. It would mean so much to me. So I follow them, and then their Twitter feed is so boring, and so they're tweeting like 100 times a day stuff that I don't care about. So just mute them. They won't know that you muted them.
No, but I like to keep my following list low. I like to
Well,
keep the
see,
number
that's
nice
other
and low.
right?
You
You
know?
want to be what, like about a 10-to-1 ratio? What do you want?
No. Do you know what I'm picturing right now? I'm picturing my two grandfathers listening to us talk
Going,
like this
"What
and
the-"
going, "What are you clowns going on about?" It's like we're all back in grade school. It's
Yeah.
a huge popularity contest, is what it is.
It's
And
Valentine's
we
Day
all-
in grade
It
school.
is Valentine's Day, and we all have our own insecurities.
Yeah, sure.
And our own false sense of security, probably.
When I got the little blue check mark on mine when my account got verified, I'm like, I don't know how'd that happen, but
That
hey,
is-
high five.
That
Do you
is
still have
driving me
it?
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't.
No.
You
I
don't, eh?
I don't
Did you
want
ever?
that. I don't want that.
No,
blue
I want
check
it.
mark. I
Yes,
don't
you
want it.
do.
Yes,
Yeah,
you
I
do.
do. I want it so bad. I want to be verified so
I'm like, how
bad.
did that even happen?
I have Googled that and asked and even emailed them, and I've been told that, listen, you have to be in entertainment or media, and I did both those things. How's that not possible that I have a blue check mark?
They said that we couldn't talk for 23 minutes on nothing, and we proved
we
them
just
wrong.
we do it for 4 hours every day.
I know. The lawyer in Florida has a blue check mark, by the way.
I think that the Ryan Jesperson con in Florida, he might have a blue check mark tattooed on
Yeah.
his face somewhere.
exactly.
The
Thanks for
teardrop.
tuning into the announcers. We have a lot of fun doing it. We hope you've enjoyed listening. You can hear Jalen and Andrew on the air every weekday from 2 to 6. I'm there from 9 a.m. to noon. We'll talk to you soon.